Hi, my name is Dr. Mike Cubbin, and I'd like to speak with you about a couple of ideas from my new Business of School program. If you're watching this, you've probably gotten the video from someone who I've either consulted with or a friend, teacher who I work with currently. I have been consulting one-on-one for the past couple of years, and I'm ready to take the show on the road, to do this full-time as a full, but I'd like to get into a couple of classrooms, run my ideas by some of the students, by some of the professors. You are probably one of those ed professors, and get some feedback. I'm going to give you a couple of ideas that I do speak with about other teachers in order to strengthen what they're doing in the class. Now, I have been a teacher for about 14 years. I've taught Earth Science Regents for about 8 years. During that time, I've had 3 students fail. Those students who did pass the test, 50% of them got over 90 on the test. I work in a high school that has a 100% Spanish-speaking English language learner population. And last year, my chemistry, which I teach, Chemistry Regents class, scored 100% passing on the Regents. Not that they all got 100%, but I had the entire class pass the Regents. Now, for some people, they may not see that as a big thing, but for a school that is predominantly, solely Spanish-speaking, 100% English language learners, that's quite an achievement, given that our passing rate is probably somewhere between 10 and 35% for all the other regions. How do I do this? People ask me, what's your secret? It's because I was in practice as a chiropractor, a doctor, for 15 years before I became a teacher. And what I've done is I've taken those ideas from the office: management, goal setting, organizing data, prioritization, everything that we use in the office to make our office run seamlessly, and I brought it into the classroom. I'm going to talk about 2 things that come up. 1, an issue that comes up. 2, a blog that I recently read. But let's talk about some of the things that affect our teaching. They are attendance, classroom management, and homework. And they can all be resolved through one thing. And if not resolved, close to being resolved through one thing. If you do it well enough, they can be resolved. And that's the phone call home. Now, when I talk to teachers about students who are missing or students who are late, especially latenesses, sometimes students are late every day. And I ask them, did you call, the parent about them? They were only 5 minutes late. They're only a minute late. Well, yeah, but then your class is a minute late starting, and if you add up those minutes for the whole year, you've lost a lot of time by that one student being late. Never mind that. But when they are missing that time, their parents don't always know they're missing that time. Now, here's how I look at it from a business perspective, having been in practice before. We had patients who would you classify as bad patients. They didn't show up for appointments, they missed their appointments, they didn't pay on time. We had to show those patients the right things to do, just as we need to show students. Too often we drop the ball with the students. We need to take a much more business-like approach. Just like any other professional, a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant would with their clients, we need to look at our clients and our customers, our students, and approach it the same way, because if we don't, we're dropping the ball. If we had a patient who was late 5 minutes, one of the girls would call their house. They would let them know, Mr. Smith, you missed your appointment, can we reschedule? If another girl from my office called, they would say the exact same thing. One of the things that we are missing in school is also scripting. Often we say all kinds of stuff when we call home, never mind the fact that the student's late or missing, but we say all kinds of stuff. In fact, when I first started teaching, they told us that what we should do is always start out the conversation on a high note. Started out with something positive about little Jimmy. And so we would say, hi, Mrs. Smith, just want to tell you it's been great having Jimmy in my class this year, but he's a great student and everything's really going along well, but he's coming late and he's not doing his homework. And the parent would think, wow, you just said it's a pleasure having him in class. He's a wonderful kid. He's so smart. But now you're telling me these bad things. What is it? Is he good or is he bad? Are you being honest with me or not? What can I believe from you? It's the same as if I would call a patient up and say, hi, Mr. Jones, looked over your x-rays, everything looks really good. Your spine looks wonderful, everything looks great, except you have a big lump on your spine and it looks like cancer. He would say, wow, Doc, didn't you just tell me that I'm really doing okay? Well, I know, but in school they taught us to start out every conversation with something positive. Click. That would be the last time I would see the patient in my office. So what we need to do is understand that if that patient, if we do not, getting back to them, if we do not call them and let them know that they are late or they missed an appointment, a couple of things happen. Number one, they say, wow, he didn't mind that I was missing. That appointment was not important. And if that appointment was not important, then my treatment is not important. Let's go back to the classroom. Student is late 1 day. You don't call home. 2 days, 3 days. Parent comes in, parent-teacher conference. Oh, Jimmy was late 3 times. Why didn't you call me? Every teacher has heard this at some time or another in their career. Why didn't you call me? Well, you know, he was only late a couple of... Parents thinking, oh, being late from your class, missing out on your class is okay. Well, obviously, your class must not be that important if he can miss a couple of minutes. And now you're the third teacher I came and spoke with, and every class he's late to, and nobody's called me. So none of your classes must be important. Now, I know you might think that's a little bit overboard and radical, but look at it from a parent's point of view. Put yourself in that parent's shoe. Every teacher you speak with, your son's there late, and nobody ever calls you. Okay, so now we got that down straight. We have to call the parents. I don't care if they curse at you, if they yell at you, if they scream at you. If you don't call, you're dropping the ball. If they come up to the school and they are angry because you're calling every day, you have to let them know that you care about their child and you want the parent to know so that they can speak to their child about it. We can speak to children to a certain point, but we can't do everything. So we have to have the parent aware of what's happening. When they come up, you need to be able to have everything documented. Not just for the parent, but you have to document it so that you can now take those latenesses and absences, and just like I did for latenesses and absences in my office, was that affecting my bottom line? You have to take those statistics and see, was that affecting your overall class grades? So if you have a lot of students late in absence and your grades are down and high lateness and absences, then you have to do something about that to bring down your lateness and absences. And just as a function, a direct function or an inverse function, that should rise up. So you need to be able to look at that statistically and say, what am I doing? What am I not doing? Where are the numbers not looking good? And how can I change this? If you have a lot of absences and latenesses, I'll tell you right now, you're not calling home enough. And that's the bottom line. Point number 2. And this is another thing I talk about with teachers, and I hear it all the time. Observations. Observations are a big problem for teachers. They were never a problem for doctors or lawyers or accountants because the state can walk in on us at any moment. We have patients, adults watching us every day as we do stuff. As we go about our practice, our business, our clients, doing everything we do in the business, we have people watching us all the time. Recently, everybody gets these blogs through emails, and I saw that one of our top consultants in the teaching industry, I would say this person is one of the top 5 consultants, asked the question, proposed the question, would you as a teacher rather have several short, unannounced, informal observations, or would you have, rather than fewer, full lesson observations? And I looked at it and I said, it can't be right. This person can't be asking that question. An education consultant cannot be saying one or the other. Kind of like saying, how often do you really need to be ready in your class? Do you need to be ready a little bit every day because they're going to be informal? Or do you need to really be ready on those big days when you're going to have the full lesson observation? This is the information teachers are getting. And this is way off the ranch for most people who are in business, and their business depends on people coming in on a regular basis and observing them. What that consultant should be saying is every day from now on, you are going to treat it as if it's a formal observation. That's a problem for teachers. Getting that much material together, getting your students on board with that material, being able to teach very enriching, very meaningful lessons on that kind of a basis. Why? Because of attendance, because of classroom management, and because of homework that's being done. But if we solve those three, we would be able to have a much more smoothly running class. If I took care of patients who were coming in my office late, if I took care of billing that wasn't being done, homework, billing that wasn't coming in on time, if I took care of that, my office would run much smoother. I'd be able to treat the patients more effectively. If we took care of classroom management, if we took care of phone calling home, if we took care of latenesses and absences, if we took care of the homework, which is all part of that phone call home, more effectively, we would be able to do our job better. Now, I just put this short video together to give you 2 ideas that I talk about with teachers on a regular basis. If you think that these ideas would be, and again, I have dozens of them and I have forms to go with them, but if you think these ideas would be helpful for your people who are going to be new teachers or your teachers who are going to be new administrators, please contact me, talk to the person who gave you this video, or you can get me at Dr. Cubbin at Yahoo, DrCubbin, DrCubbin at yahoo.com. Drop me a line and we'll set up an appointment. And if you don't mind, I'd like to bring a videographer in because most of my filming is done on a camera like this, and I would like to have some nice shots done, about a half hour worth of time, in a classroom, getting some feedback with someone who owns a real camera, so it would look a little more professional than this. You would get a benefit, I would get a benefit, and your students would get a benefit. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to speak with you soon.